Some people ask me about my mother. I already made one video about it, but that's something that I wanted to say. When I was in Haiti, when I was kicked out from my home, Santa Barbara in America, being kicked with my aunt Kelly in Haiti for 2 years. My father, Michael Jackson, was so angry with my mother, Barbara Jane Ross, that he told me she was dead. You know, he even bought a grave, said she's laid out. You will never see her again. She died, whatever. And so there was, in 1984, there was a drama going on. There was a war going on between the Diana Ross family and my mother's family with the Jackson. There was a war going on. And my father had just taken me and moved me to Haiti. And what happened there, I don't quite understand. I was grieving for 2 years for my mother. But my mother and I, we did not have a good relationship. I only saw my mother maybe 3 times, 4 times in a year. I maybe saw my mother. The rest I didn't see her. I wasn't a part of Diana Ross family, Barbara Jane Ross family. I was maybe 4 times a year I saw my mother. I was really a part of the Jackson family. So when I was kidnapped, in my head, my mother had passed away. I didn't know nothing anymore about my mother. So when my father came back, a detective started talking to me that I was very lucky that my character is not as Barbara Jane Ross, that my father wanted me back in his life. I was quite shocked. I was really like, whoa, what is this creepy woman? That my father, Michael Jackson, hates her so much that he will not deal with me if I look like her. So that quite gave me a lot of really emotional damage. It really gave me emotional damage. It really blew my mind that my father could have not dealing with me, not want to get to know me because of something my mother did. And I don't know what my mother did. So my father's friends, they start to prepare me to let me know that my mother was still alive and that her name was Barbara. The funny thing is that I don't remember my mother being called Barbara Jane Ross. In my head, the name of my mother was always Bobby, because my mother is being called Bobby, and so never Barbara. I know far away I knew Barbara, but not close. And my mother wasn't an important person emotional in my life. Diana Ross was more my mother in a way, my greedy aunt. She really loved children, and she really loved to kiss us. She adores children, so she was quite my scary aunt. And she loved me very much. I felt really loved by her, but I loved her husband more, Rob Sebastian. She was still married. For me, this guy was a god. Still, he will always be a god. He's an amazing guy. So in 2007, when I went to the embassy to ask some questions about my mother, that's when I found out that my mother was still alive. And I really had a hard time dealing emotional with that. But my mother will never be important in my life. My mother, I was born, she threw me away, and my mother doesn't love me. I think my mother loved me in her own way, but my mother and she's not important to me. If I die tomorrow, I will not call my mother. I will never call my mother for help. Yes, I called my mother for help when the memorial of my father came, and I didn't want the memorial to be an happy birthday of my son. That's when I wrote my mother, Barbara Jane Ross, an email, and she took care of the problem. So in that way, my mother is great. But I know that my father really, really hate her, and I would never know why, because my father died. He never talked to me about it before he died. Why?